I have written down here, no dick touch. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Wild Dispatch. I'm Robin and I'm back with more skills and stories from the wild. Today is another Tools for Wild Minds episode. Something occurred to me a week ago when I was off recently having an adventure with a good friend of mine, hunting buddy. Well, we both got chatting and realized that we both suffer from poison oak. Nothing incredible about that, but I kind of realized that over the past few years I have, well, I guess the way to phrase it is become far more sensitive to Urushiol oil or Urushiol oil. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. But the oil that is found in poison oak, poison ivy, and sumac. Now, it's always poison oak where I am on the west coast of California. But, yeah, I guess initially I didn't think that it got me. And then I learnt through a bit more research and personal experience that you become more sensitive to it with each dose. So, in England, there is no poison oak, there is no Urushiol oil, none of that exists. So, I mean, to be honest, there's also very few poisonous animals, nothing's dangerous, which is why it's so fun being over here, I guess. But having had no prior experience of this stuff, not easily being able to identify it, I spent the first 2 or 3 years of hunting and foraging in California, just skipping through the boonies and not having a care in the world. And only gradually I started to get some sore patches. And then, to be honest, there was one time that really kind of turned my attention and made me realize that I need to do things differently from now on. I think it was about 3 summers ago, I'd say. I was hunting in archery deer season in California, which is quite early. It's usually around July, August time. I was in an area which is a public land spot. There's not a whole lot there, but it's a really fun place for adventures, and it's a really good place for me to start hunting as well. I just started becoming aware of poison oak, but wasn't really knowledgeable about it. I couldn't recognize it easily. And given that it was so hot, it was like 90, close to 100 degrees often. Fahrenheit, that is. I think that's like 40 degrees Celsius at times. The deer were just like deep in the thick. And so that's where I went and didn't really think much about it. I suffered so badly. I had like rash and the bumps and the red soreness all over my arms, my legs, my sides, my neck. I had it everywhere. It was just terrible. And it's kind of one of those things that once you've got it and the effect has started, there's not much you can do to remove the oil. So it was too little, too late. I lost a lot of sleep for quite a few days. So that was pretty bad. I think I also then tried to develop some techniques immediately after going back to the same place. I think during the day I was going down to a little lake. I would get in that lake and I would wash myself like every day, and it still didn't have a huge effect. So I still got absolutely whacked by this poison oak and really suffered. So it was kind of like a point where I was like, can I even go out in the boonies and get into the thick of it if I'm going to suffer this badly? So ultimately, I had to figure out some techniques, and I did actually find 1 or 2 that really work, which I'm going to share later on. So first of all, I should probably explain what it is. So it's like a species of plant that has this thing called Urushiol oil in it. And I'm just looking down because I got a few notes here because some of this is a bit more technical than my brain can handle. Yeah, poison oak, poison ivy, sumac, all those plants have it in. They are distinct leaves. I think you should go do the research about what these look like, but often it's 3 leaves. But yeah, you need to see it visually yourself to ID it. Not only is it leaves though, when the leaves fall off in the winter, there are also these stalks everywhere. It can also run in vines all over trees. I've been got by these stalks. And actually, to be honest, I paid the price, which is why I'm talking about it here. I'm gonna stand up for people on YouTube. I had my techniques and they worked pretty well. I didn't suffer too badly, but one spot I think I missed. So this might be a bit gross, but you can see on my knee here. That spot, I think I was kneeling in a thick patch of chanterelles that happened to have a few poison oak roots around, and that must have given me a dose on the knee. And I did all the things that I normally do, and I think I just must have missed that one spot, because I can only imagine it would have been so much worse if I hadn't done these things. So in the field, there's a few things I do. One thing is I carry a very small little bottle of alcohol spray with me. It doesn't weigh very much, but it gives me a bit of peace of mind. Obviously, this stuff is an oil, so it doesn't break down easily. But if you have rubbing alcohol in a little bottle, you can spray that and give it a rub down, and that will help break down the oil. So that will give you a bit of help in the field. But that's not the only thing that I do. There is also, obviously, Technu is like a known brand. It's like an abrasive cream that does help. I actually used that on this trip, and I think it did help me some. So I would recommend giving that a go. Give it a try. Maybe it'll work for you. The other thing that really works for me, though, is soap and a flannel. Now, I found this video on YouTube. It's like 11 years old, 10 or 11 years old. But it is fantastic. And basically it shows a dude weed whacking in the middle of poison oak. The shit's going everywhere. And then he talks about how it's actually fine because he uses this technique. It's like a triple wash technique, and you have to use a flannel, like something abrasive. So like a washcloth or a flannel. You need to get soap and you basically scrub yourself with that abrasive action. Scrub yourself head to toe. All of you do that. Wash down, do it again, wash down, do it again. So do it 3 times everywhere, and that usually just gets the oil off you. That means that you get away scot-free, or in my case, just a little patch, as opposed to what could have been all over my body, because I was out in the field for 4 days. So yeah, it could have been a lot worse. So that is the absolute game changer thing that I'd say, like the number one thing. A couple of other things that you can do in the field. I always carry a bin bag or a trash bag with me. It's a small weight, but if I'm doing a bit more supported hunting, or if I'm going back to a place, I just put anything that I think has had possible exposure. I take that and I put it in the trash bag, because the oil can stay on it, and if you don't clean it properly, you touch things, it rubs up against stuff, the oil just gets everywhere, and then you are pretty fucked. So that's a good little discipline thing that I tend to do. One other thing in the field, which is a good detail, I have written down here, no dick touch. It's natural if this is guys that are listening to this, but I think it transfers over to ladies as well to some extent. When you're out in the boonies, it's so easy to just go for a pee anywhere, job done. But the trouble is, if you've got poison oak on your fingers and you are then touching a very sensitive area, unfortunately, it's like a day or 2 later, you realize that that's a problem. So the amount of times I've had poison oak on my dick, this time including, is like, yeah, might be an overshare, but like, do the best you can to not touch anything down there. Anything you touch with your hands, that's going to be a potential issue. So, other stuff to do. Back home, okay, once your trip is done, you've had a successful trip, you've fished, foraged, hunted. Don't suppose there's going to be much poison oak when you're fishing, so ignore that. Just remember that this oil can last on your gear, your clothes. It can last for years potentially, so it doesn't break down very easily. So there are things you can do again to help fix that. I have like an alcohol spray, like surgical spray. I spray my whatever clothes. I spray my bino harness. I give it a rub. I spray my shoes, my boots, particularly laces. If you have laces, just do all that stuff, because if you keep going back there and you get it on your fingers, then you're going to touch other stuff. You're going to keep getting those contacts, and that's going to be a problem. So, okay, another one I've just thought of in the field. Another story with poison oak. Make sure that you have a belt. So this is a thing, another reason why hand contact is an example. There was a time I was in the Lost Coast and I forgot my belt, and I was walking through an area that had some poison oak. I'd seen some around. I thought that I was doing a good job of missing it, but I must have touched some somewhere, and it got on my hands. The problem is my trousers, or my pants I should say in America, are too loose for me, and I wasn't wearing a belt, which meant that I was constantly lifting up my trousers, like they were always sliding down. And the problem is then when I got back, I had like loads of poison oak all over my back, my lower back, my backside, the top of my backside, because I was shifting my hand down there and pulling it up, shifting my hand and pulling it up. So I paid the price on that one again. Another thing to think about, just have a belt. And if you don't have a belt, maybe make something from paracord or something that you've got. Just make sure that you don't have to keep shoving your hands down the back of your pants. Okay, back to things to do when you're back home. Okay, so alcohol spray wipe, we've done that. The 3-time body scrub, we've got that covered. The double wash. Now, this is a thing that I do. Sometimes I even do more than this, but anything that's in that trash bag that is suspicious, that might be infected with the poison oak, wash it in however way you're supposed to wash it. But I usually use a detergent that's like one of the kind of more mainstream but unscented, like All, or I can't remember the name of the other one, but they're usually in white bottles. It's like more heavy duty. It's really good at breaking down oil. Some of the like eco-friendly washing stuff that we do use quite a lot of the time, that doesn't work. So you need to use like heavy duty, scent free obviously, because otherwise you're going to be smelling really, really strong when you're going hunting into gear, and that's no good. So do a wash and then do a second wash, and that's what I usually do. And then if I feel like I'm getting more contact in poison oak, then I'll do that batch again. I'll do another wash on it. So I think that is pretty much everything from my last 5 or 6 years of increasingly worse and worse poison oak, which I have to say is getting better these days. What I wanted to ask is, I'm sure there's other things that people are aware of. If you have any suggestions or tricks, then send them my way. Reach out to me on Instagram and yeah, sling them my way. I think it would be good to share the knowledge on this, because these little nuggets have been really helpful for me, but I think we can always do better. A couple of things that I thought were good that I just discovered from my friend Dan whilst we were hunting last week. One, colloidal oatmeal bath is something that he said that he always had to do when he was a kid. He just went running around not thinking about poison oak. I didn't even know what that was, but apparently it's just like a very fine oatmeal in a bath. Really helps to soothe the itching. So that's a good thing to try. I haven't tried it, but maybe give it a go. The other thing that does really work that he actually showed me when we got back to his place is aloe vera. That stuff is amazing. So yeah, snip off a stalk. It's kind of like a succulent. Rub the gel inside on the area that's sore, and it just like is magic. It makes such a difference. I think you can buy like tube products of aloe vera as well, but just having the plant there is a really kind of easy way to do it. apart from, not in the field, but when you're back home. So I think that is everything that I have in my brain. It's an invitation to anyone and everyone who has more nuggets of wisdom about this stuff. Feel free to share it with me, share it on Instagram. And yeah, let me know how you get on as well. If any of this stuff is helpful or has made a difference, then get in touch. Right. That's all from me. Thanks for listening. Until next time.